Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FTB Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Ngulik, alongside my co-host, Dom Savino. This is a post-trade deadline episode. We'll be discussing the trades for the Mets and Yankees through analysis and grading, as well as giving one trade we both had wished to come true. It was pretty active day yesterday. Really, I would say pretty active past week for the whole MLB, but more importantly, the Mets and the Yankees, of course, for us. The Yankees bolstered their bullpen. The Mets bolstered their bullpen. Yankees also got some utility help. Mets got, center fielder. They needed to do that. That was pretty important. Mets did not come away with a starting pitcher. The Yankees got a pretty darn good defensive third baseman, starting to hit now too, which is great. So that's good. But Dom, you can go first with the trades for the Yankees. I know that it was a pretty busy day yesterday. Brian Cashman getting a ton of heat per usual, but I think now Yankee fans can maybe give a little bit of an apology, possibly. I mean, maybe some people saw the reel that I posted on Instagram looking for a new general manager and a new manager for the Yankees. So you can go first with the Yankees trades. What do you got for us here?
All right, so Brian Cashman, he did his job, right? Like I'm not even trying to be funny. Like he did his job. He did what he had to do. It sounds like some of these picks were a little desperate. A little bit, not like overly desperate. I just have concerns now with how Aaron Boone is going to use these guys. For example, now we got David Bednar, who he did good this year, considering that he got sent down to the minors April 1st. Then he got called back in April 19th. But then we were talking about how that's like not even like a week into the season. So we're just assuming that could have had like a bad outing or two. Then they're like, all right, like, because he had a bad year last year. So we're like, all right. Now he comes back. Now he has 17 saves, and he didn't blow any of them. He's 17 for 17. He has a 2-5 record, and he also has 3 holds. So maybe I'm assuming this is maybe the beginning of the season where he had 3 holds. I'm not too sure. And he has 51 strikeouts and a 2.37 ERA. That sounds pretty solid, especially for a team that's not very good when he was on the Pirates. Now you got Jake Bird, who we were talking about in last episode where we're like, this doesn't move me at all. He has 10 holds, he has 62 strikeouts, and a 4.73 ERA. But the thing is, he also has 23 walks. That doesn't sound very good at all.
It's not ideal. You
No.
could say that way. It's not ideal.
But I think the best person that we got was Duvall, Camilo Duvall. He has 15 saves, 50 strikeouts in 47 games with a 4-2 record. That's good, right?
And what is and just out of curiosity, what is his current ERA right now?
309.
Yeah, that's
309
solid
ERA.
for a reliever.
Yeah, like it's really not that bad. But now, like comparing of what we had before the trade deadline to now, right? It doesn't sound that bad. Even though like Loaisiga and Weaver are not the same. But like those are like our main guys, basically in the relief. But now they're not at all. And now we still have Devin Williams, even though he just blown his save again, but he has improved throughout the year. But my only problem that I have is if one of these guys struggle with Duvall, Bednar, Williams, how's that going to work? What is Aaron Boone going to do?
My
That's
problem,
my problem. I don't trust this guy.
that's and the problem that I have too, Dom, is just to start off, right? David Bednar. Which David Bednar are you getting? Right? So yes, he came from Pittsburgh, but it's Pittsburgh. It's not the same limelight that you're getting with the Yankees. So, me and Dom, folks, we're discussing David Bednar's stats, his information, from the previous years, right? This year, okay, a 2.37 ERA, okay, 2 wins, 5 losses, 17 saves. But last year, 62 games pitched, a 5.77 ERA. Okay, 2023, a 2 ERA, and then a 2.61, a 2.23, right? 2022, 2021, respectively. COVID season, whatever. 2019, not great. 13 games pitched, 6.55 ERA. And then, as Dom said, the beginning of this year, in less than a week, 3, 4 games into the season, he got sent down. So the inconsistency is definitely there. He's been more consistent since he got called back up. I think, Dom, you said April 19th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. Which David Bednar are you getting? Hopefully, you're getting the one that's being consistently good right now. And then, like you said, Dom, if these guys struggle, what do you exactly do? Now, Dom, granted, that's also the same issue with every team, right? I.e., the Mets. So, that's where Aaron Boone's going to have to figure that part out with the bullpen. We said it numerous occasions, right? And we said it in one of the other episodes. I forget which one it was, but, we said the two biggest jobs of a manager is writing out the lineup card and running the bullpen, right? Managing the bullpen is a big, big job as being a manager in baseball. So I don't know what he's going to do. Still, the pickups, Dom, for the bullpen for the Yankees are great.
They are good, and it's way better than what we had.
Yeah.
But now also we got Jose Caballero.
Jose, I got it for you. I got it.
Caballero.
Jose Caballero.
Yarrow. Oh, yeah, the L's. Sorry.
The
With
L's are silent,
Yes.
Caballo.
Yes, correct.
Bingo.
Okay, so at work, right, everyone talks to me in Spanish, and I don't know a single lick of Spanish. And people that are Spanish, they get so offended and disrespected that I don't speak Spanish because they think I'm like lying to them or that I'm like American washed or something. They probably think that maybe I talked Spanish in my earlier days and that maybe I just like forgot. They think that I'm lying. They think that I don't know, but it's insane. But long story short, I really got to work on my Spanish because it would make my life 10 times easier. Just had to put that out there.
Okay.
But he is a good base runner, and he doesn't really have much stats. He has 34 stolen bases, and he also is a good fielder. And not gonna lie, the way Anthony Volpe's playing, you never know when this guy could be on the field. He's gonna be a backup for him, but at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in sooner than later. That's number one. And then we also got Ahmed Rosario. In 47 games, he has 41 hits, a 2.75 ERA, 18 ribbies, 5 home runs. That's pretty solid.
Well, he's not a pitcher, so he's got a 2.75 batting average.
Average. Wow, I said ERA. That's crazy. That's
I mean, I think he maybe pitched a couple of times in the 15-1 ball games. Who knows how he did there? Maybe. I don't even know. But
that's exactly what I was looking at. That's exactly what I wrote down.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly
it's all good. I mean, we got the gist. It's all right.
Yeah.
275 batting average is solid. He's again, like we said this last episode, right? He's had a much better than anticipated season, statistically speaking. And going back to Jose Caballero, like Dom, you hit the nail around the head. He's going to be a backup to Anthony Volpe. Now, Anthony Volpe made his 16th error the other night of the season, but he did hit that, big home run against the Rays. So that was good. But he is going to be a backup. Now, again, are they going to do something with Anthony Volpe? Listen, you don't have many options, folks. Okay. It's either you let him ride it out, which is not working. You send him down to the minors. I mean, me and Dom away from the pod have talked about that as a possibility. Or you trade him, but obviously the trade deadline just passed 6 p.m. yesterday. So what are you going to do? You don't have many options with Anthony Volpe. So trading a guy like Jose Caballero, which Dom was hilarious. He had to give hugs and shake hands to his teammates in his dugout. to then walk over the field and go to the other team.
That's
So
crazy.
that was interesting. We're not being literal. We're kind of joking. I'm sure he just went to the guest locker room and then, went home and blah blah blah. And he'll see the Yankees locker room, tonight, probably most likely. But still, it's a backup, situation to Anthony Volpe. But regardless, I think the Yankees did a good job at the trade deadline.
Also, Brian Cashman did that good of a job. We didn't even give up any top prospects. We didn't, after all these signings that we got, we got McMahon. We got also Slater. I forgot to mention Slater. We got Bednar, Duvall, Bird, Rosario, Caballero, right? Yeah, I got it. We haven't given up one top prospect in all of that.
I have a question though, Dom.
What's up?
What is Slater gonna be?
Slater,
Is
he's
he a
gonna be
fourth outfielder?
he's
Like,
gonna be a
what are
fourth,
they expecting Andrew Slater to do for the Yankees?
he's gonna be a fourth outfielder because the way that it's going, well, now especially that Judge is out, but now you have Dominguez and you also have Grisham. So, and then you can also rotate whoever in right field. He'll probably most likely play right field because of Judge for now.
Right.
But once he gets back, he's just going to be his fourth outfielder.
So Brian Cashman got Andrew Slater as essentially an insurance for Aaron Judge.
Definitely insurance.
Okay.
But the thing is, he might be back next week.
Yes. Well, that's why I was kind of like, I'm trying to think. Like, all right, Judge should be back sooner than later. Slater, I mean, Dom, unless you have his stats in front of you, I have no idea. I barely know the guy.
I barely know
I
the
don't
guy.
really know what his stats are. I'd have to look them up. Um, I mean, this guy I've never heard of, but once I heard that, um, once I heard that he got traded to the Yankees, I obviously then decided to try to look him up. Actually, I even got the name wrong. It's not even Andrew Slater. It's Austin Slater. That's how much I don't know who he is.
I don't know him either.
Yeah, he's hitting 228.
Seems like the
So
average that the Yankees want to get. I'm not even joking.
yeah, I get. Yeah, well, for insurance purposes, yeah, it's fine. It'll do the job for now. 228 batting average, 5 homers, 12 RBIs, literally a tad, a point under 700 OPS. So, he got traded not yesterday, but a few days ago. So yeah, that's definitely going to be insurance for Aaron Judge. And it's still a solid pickup. They had to get someone. Again, we're predicting, we're assuming that Judge is going to be back sooner than later. We're very much hoping that's the case. But yeah, I mean, so a couple of days ago, Slater came to the Yankees, but again, still solid trade deadline for the Yanks.
To me, it also feels like they tried to get some top dogs and they just couldn't get them. Like I'm sure they tried to get Mason Miller. Who went to the Padres from
Mm-hmm.
the. I'm sure they tried to get Sandy Alcantara. I'm sure they tried to get him, even though
Mm-hmm.
they said they weren't going to trade him. I'm sure they tried a lot.
Sandy
That's
Alcantara is what an interesting guy right now. He's not doing well. He had a good outing recently, but his ERA is in the sevens. I mean, he's just not. Hasn't. He's not the Sandy Alcantara that we're used to seeing. Cy Young Award winning Sandy Alcantara, right? He's obviously coming back from Tommy John, but we thought maybe he was going to get moved somehow. I'm sure the Marlins still wanted a hefty package for him. So he's actually gotten below 7. He's at a 6.36 ERA. He just pitched against the St. Louis Cardinals on July 29th. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs. But it's not the Sandy Alcantara we're used to seeing. So who knows what package the Marlins wanted.
true, but I feel like it's just the past 2-3 years. like the Yankees were the top. Like they're able to get whoever they want. Everyone wanted to go here. People still want to come to the Yankees. Don't get me wrong, but it's not
Absolutely.
like we talked about this. I think an episode or two ago. Where like I was like, now people like a lot of people want to go to the Mets. A lot of people want to go to the Dodgers. A lot of people want to be on the West Coast. Like San Diego's still a great attraction. Like who doesn't want to live in San Diego? And there's so many other top teams now. Like the Phillies are getting players. Like so I feel like we're not really above the food chain anymore, how like we used to be.
I feel that. I get that. The Phillies got, the Red Sox got Dustin May. They weren't too active. Honestly, I think Red Sox fans, me and my brother's friend Pete, he's a big Red Sox fan, right? Big Roman Anthony guy, huge Roman Anthony buff, but they weren't as active as I thought. I thought maybe the Red Sox did call about Joe Ryan, and that was a guy. Obviously, I made a reel on Instagram. There was a certain package I personally put together, try to get Joe Ryan. He didn't move. Dylan Cease, he didn't get moved. Sandy Alcantara, he didn't get moved. There are just starting pitchers. Cabrera for the Marlins didn't get moved. There are just certain guys that just did not. Starting pitchers just didn't really get traded, at this trade deadline. So it's not like the Yankees didn't try. I'm sure the Mets also tried. It's just, listen, hey, if guys aren't moving, they aren't moving. The Blue Jays, the Blue Jays made a pitching trade, right? They got Sir Anthony Dominguez, a reliever. But they also who else did they get, Dom, the Blue Jays? They also got, I believe they got a starting
They
pitcher.
got Bieber.
Yeah. So they got a starting pitcher, but we knew he was going to go. Stephen Kwan for the Guardians didn't get traded. I mean, he was getting rumored out the wazoo every day.
Every day.
We thought maybe the Yankees could get him, maybe the Mets, possibly, even though it wasn't the perfect fit. The Mets are more looking for a center fielder than a left fielder. But you know, we also like talking about rivals, right? That's also what we do here on this pod. We talk about our rivals. So the Blue Jays, you know, obviously the Orioles traded away Cedric Mullins to the Mets. The Red Sox thought they were going to be a little more active, but I still think the Yankees came away with some good with some good arms and good names. For really the whole week span from the 24th to the 31st.
We did, but a lot of analysts and people on Twitter are saying, "Oh, like we won the deadline." No, we didn't. No, we did not. It's just too emotional. These people, I can't take it. Even
The
even
thing
the
is,
even the insiders and the analysts, they get too emotional, and it's
the thing is, I'm seeing people say, "Oh my God, the Yankees bullpen is scary now."
no, it's not.
Listen, Bednar. Listen, hold on. Bednar is a good pitcher. He was a closer for Pittsburgh. He's doing well right now. Okay, let's not discredit how well he's done so far. Right, obviously, as Dom has already said, as I've already said, he got sent down very early, basically right when the season started. And he's done ever since he got called back up April 19th. He's done great for the season. Doval, I mean, that is a great last minute trade. Okay, he's going to be fantastic in the pen. But let's not forget, Luke Weaver hasn't been the same since his injury. He gave up the game to the Mets. Okay, that Jeff McNeil towering upper deck 2-run homer. And then I just watched Devin Williams blow a save against the Rays. And we already know his ups and downs, his roller coaster of a season so far this year. So, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to just look at the Yankees bullpen because they got Bednar and Duvall. And Bednar has his share of inconsistencies as well. We just read his stats from last year, a 5.77 ERA. Where the Yankees and Yankee fans, even myself included, are hoping that the Yankees are getting a Bednar that, we had that Pittsburgh has been seeing, that we've been seeing from afar at his, strong ERA and his strong stats, for the season. But to say that the Yankees bullpen is scary, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to agree with that.
No, yeah, I'm not.
2.37 ERA this year, David Bednar. So
Not bad. Not
Anything
terrible.
else you got for the Yanks?
No, but for you guys, I had Cedric Mullins on my fantasy team. I still do for some reason, but it just it's hilarious because it's not like it's only this year. It's also every year where he gets off to the hottest start. He looks like an MVP candidate to like the first month or two of the season, and then he just falls into an abyss. It doesn't make any sense to me. Of like this is just a consistent thing for him. And it's not like he's on like a well, this year, like the Orioles are terrible. But the past few years, the Orioles have been good. It's not like he's been like on a god awful team like the Rockies or something like that. So for your sake, I'm hoping that Cedric Mullins just needed a change of scenery too. Like he has 15 home runs, and I feel like most of them were in like the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah. I mean, for the folks who are listening and watching, right, the last episode, I didn't really, I didn't really love the idea of having Cedric Mullins as the everyday center fielder, right? I kind of knocked him off my list of go-getters, right, for the trade deadline. I wasn't really sold on LRJ either. I mean, I expressed obviously very clearly in the reel that I put out there on Instagram and the previous episode, the only way I would want LRJ, that's Luis Robert Jr., is trading Drew Gilbert, which was in a separate package, right? I'm gonna about to get into the Mets now, their trade deadline, but that was the only way I would have taken him. But listen, Cedric Mullins, I'll speak a little bit more on him, here in a bit. But again, the Mets were looking for a center fielder who can hit lefties, which he's got great stats against lefties, and can play center field and go get the ball, right? Doesn't have the best arm, doesn't have the strongest arm, but he could play center field. And is he an upgrade to Tyrone Taylor? Uh, a man by the name of Michael Abriano, who really just put people. Yeah, actually, not Michael Abriano, excuse me, Danny Abriano, who just really essentially exposed people for just saying stuff and not looking up statistics. The Mets trade deadline, definitely strong. I mean, we're going to give our grades, a little bit later here, but, you know, I think the Mets did a very good job, right? They got three great relievers, as Dom just said, just expressed, right? Cedric Mullins, a great pickup for center field. I couldn't watch Tyrone Taylor swing at a high fastball up in the second row of seats every at bat anymore. I just couldn't do that. So they had to get somebody, and they did. But first, they got, Gregory Soto, which this was about close to now a week ago, right? They sent prospects Wellington Aracena and Cameron Foster to the Orioles for Gregory Soto. He already debuted, looks good. I know he gave up that walk-off hit in the Padres game Monday night, but listen, it shouldn't have even gotten to that. If Montas, you know, if he knew how to hold the 5-1 lead and now Brazaban got optioned, thank God, see you later, take care. He can't really pitch. He's not great, so he's not there. But Gregory Soto's good. They also got Tyler Rogers, not Trevor Rogers, but Tyler Rogers. And for that trade, they gave up Drew Gilbert, Blade Tidwell, and Jose Budo. Jose Budo was pretty emotional in the bullpen that when he found out he got traded. But listen, Jose Budo didn't have a good outing Tuesday night. He gave up 5 runs in an inning and 2/3. Didn't have a good time of it. And so what can you do? They needed to get more relievers. But um, Tyler Rogers is going to be a fantastic, he's a submariner, so deceptive. I mean, I don't know how anybody hits this guy. He's only been in the league actually since 2019. He's 34 years old. I thought he was in the league longer, but I looked it up last night and he's actually only been in the league since 2019. That's a rental. All of these guys are rentals. Every single guy that they picked up is a rental. So that's the tough part. But you then now move up to number one as a possibility of re-signing these guys when free agency comes. And then if the biggest reliever out of all of them was Ryan Helsley, two-time All-Star closer for the Cardinals. They gave up Jesus Baez, who is a highly touted prospect for the Mets. Nate Dome and Frank Ellisalt. So they gave up those guys for Ryan Helsley. And then, of course, they got the aforementioned Cedric Mullins for center field. And for Cedric Mullins, they gave up Ramon Gomez, right, a right-handed pitcher who my brother believes is going to be pretty good. Chandler Marsh, another right-handed pitcher, and another right-handed pitcher, Anthony Nunez. And all of those, went to the Orioles for Cedric Mullins. Now, the full list for the trade deadline. So again, acquired Gregory Soto, Ryan Helsley, Tyler Rogers, and Cedric Mullins. Traded away right-handed pitcher Wellington Aracena, right-handed pitcher Cameron Foster, center fielder Drew Gilbert. He was number 12 prospect for the Mets. Starting pitcher Blade Tidwell, who I think is going to be more of a long inning relief type. He was the number 10 prospect. Jose Budo, already in the majors. He went to San Francisco. Jesus Baez, shortstop, number 7 prospect. That's easily the top prospect of all trades the Mets made. The right-handed pitcher Nate Dome, number 14 prospect. Frank Ellisalt is not ranked. Right-handed pitcher Ramon Gomez, right-handed pitcher, number 30 prospect. Right-handed pitcher Chandler Marsh, not ranked. And then lastly, right-handed pitcher Anthony Nunez, number 14 prospect. So the Mets kept their young core of players. They kept their 1 through 9, and they also kept their number 11 prospect. I'd have to look to see who that is now because obviously after trade deadline, everything has to get re-ranked. But yeah, I mean, it was a strong deadline. Now, do I think they still needed a starting pitcher? Yes, I do. I do still think they needed a starting pitcher. Yes.
Me too.
Yes. Okay. So right there, I mean, not getting a starting pitcher, it's a little concerning. Dom, and Yankee fans know better than Met fans. Clay Holmes is not looking like what we had seen at the beginning of the season, right? Clay Holmes is starting to kind of fall. I don't want to say fall apart is aggressive term, but he's regressing. I think that's probably the best way to put it. And Frankie Montas, I mean, again, if this guy cannot throw off-speed pitches, he gets absolutely obliterated on his fastball. And I watched it when they met. The Mets went up 5-1. He threw a lot of pitches, even for the first 3 innings, and then the 4th inning just unraveled. So I thought they needed a starting pitcher. But listen, with them not getting a starting pitcher, I would have loved for them to get a Joe Ryan. Again, the package that I had set up on that reel, that didn't happen. He never got traded anyway. Number 11 prospect for the Mets is Jake Weninger. He's a right-handed pitcher. But again, Jet Williams, they kept Jonah Tong, Nolan McLean, Carson Bench, Brandon Sproat, Jacob Reimer, Ryan Clifford, all these names that I had mentioned in our previous episode, they kept. Elian Pena. It was a good trade deadline. Mets kept a lot of their highly touted prospects, but now not getting a starting pitcher, I am expecting the 2 guys who are almost MLB ready, Brandon Sproat and Nolan McLean. I'm expecting these guys to get called up because I am going to tell you right now, I would love for Clay Holmes to get moved to the bullpen and get rid of Ryne Stanek. I have no faith in Ryne Stanek. None. Not even. I mean, again, I was looking at I was looking at Baseball Savant, Dom, and this guy, if he can't throw his splitter or his slider, this guy is just going to get absolutely killed on his. He throws his four seam 58% of the time, his slider 22, and his split 12, and he barely throws his sweeper. If he can't throw his slider or his split, he's terrible. I mean, I've seen him throw just meatballs down the plate. So I have no faith in Ryne Stanek. So I would love for Clay Holmes to go to the bullpen. I would love for these 2 guys to frankly take the spots of Clay Holmes and Frankie Montas and you would have Kodai Senga, David Peterson, Sean Manaea, Brandon Sproat, Nolan McLean, whichever order you want to put that in. But those would be your 5 pitchers. Here and there with the non-off days, which from August, I believe on the calendar, it's August 19th to September 3rd. They don't have an off day. So they're going to need a 6th starter for Kodai Senga's sake. So maybe, I don't know, they tried to shop Paul Blackburn. That was a joke. I knew he was never going to get traded. But they'll need a 6th starter at some point. So that's that for that. Cedric Mullins, as Dom mentioned, right, his statistics are pretty interesting. So for lefty and righty splits, the Mets were looking for a lefty bat. They were looking for, well, I shouldn't say lefty bat. They were looking for a guy who could hit left-handed pitching. His average, okay, 298 average, 390 on base percentage, 476 slug, 866 OPS. Fantastic.
That sounds
But
pretty good.
then he faces right-handed pitching. Dom, it's a 204 average, 272 on base percentage, a 417 slug, and a 689 OPS.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's pretty awful. And like what, he's
So
batting like 215? I
he's
think.
batting, what'd you say?
Was he batting like 215 like in total?
I believe he's batting,
229, I'm sorry.
yeah, he's batting 229, 15 homers, 49 RBIs, a 738 OPS overall. So listen, you wanted a guy who hits lefties, okay, can hit lefties. You know, his month of June wasn't great, but his month of July has definitely been better. I mean, month of June, his batting average was a 156. I mean, god awful. A 203 on base percentage, a 297 slug, and a 500 OPS. This month in July, a lot better. 290 a batting average, 346 on base percentage, slugging 522, and an 868 OPS. So they're bringing him in when he's on a hot streak, right? He's got 7 doubles, 20 hits, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 7 walks. So that's good. But again, he's going to be replacing Tyrone Taylor as a possible everyday center fielder. Will it be every day? I don't know. We'll see what Carlos Mendoza decides to do.
There's no
But
way
that's that.
there's no way
Huh?
it's not every day.
I mean, I would assume it's every day.
It has to be every day.
But Tyrone Taylor can defend. And yeah, he gets his hits here and there. But yeah, I mean, listen, if he's playing every day, the problem is then, right, as you could imagine, Dom, some of these the gluttony of infielders that the Mets have up here at the major league level, one of these young guys are not going to play as much anymore because then Jeff McNeil is not going to play center field. They're going to move him to second base, and that possibly hurts, frankly, I would think, Brett Beatty. Acuna's already on the bench. He barely plays. We already talked about this a couple of times already.
It's
But
insane.
Mauricio is looking great at third. He's actually now second on OAA, which is outs above average. He's already second. Guy's only been here for, you know, a short amount of time, maybe a month and a half, maybe almost 2 months now. So I think Brett Beatty's going to get hurt by this trade, but it is what it is. Mets, it's a business. Mets have to bring in a guy who could play center field every day. The interesting thing is, Dom, we said the White Sox are just not a smart organization. I mean, what the hell did they do with Luis Robert Jr.? Not trading him at all. I could see if, okay, you don't trade him to the Mets. All right, maybe there's a better package, but you didn't trade him at all.
Wait, but he did get traded to the Mets, right? According
No.
to Mike Rodriguez,
No,
he got
no,
traded.
no.
Wait, did he get hacked or something?
See,
Wait,
maybe he
got
posted
hacked.
about that, but Mike Rodriguez,
He had to get hacked.
he posted about Adolis Garcia getting traded from the Rangers too.
Oh, and him too.
So
What?
he
No way. That's crazy.
Oh man, I got to tell you, I mean, the funny thing is, I had Mike Rodriguez written down right here, right after the LRJ non-trade from the White Sox. Folks, I just don't understand it.
Do it. I had
You
to do it.
can't consider yourself a serious analyst if you're going to put out stupid posts like, oh, and by the way, did you see how he typed out breaking? He typed it out BRAKING.
That was like Arson Judge going to the Giants.
I'm like, dude, and then you send me a photo of him hacked, a hacked post of a picture of a Bitcoin. I was like, I mean, the funny thing is, if I go back to Dom's text, now obviously, folks, he took this stupid stuff down. But look, Mike, it's a picture of a Bitcoin. What the hell is that? I just don't understand that. Yeah, nothing to see here yet. Yeah, he took it down. What an idiot. I mean, unbelievable.
It's crazy because like I'm at work and like I'm getting text messages from like my friends, like obviously they know we have this podcast, and they're like, oh, like Adolis Garcia, he's going to the Mets. I'm like, what? And I'm like looking, and I'm scrolling, I don't see a thing. I'm looking at, Jeff Passan, nothing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Then they sent me the tweet. I said, who the hell is this guy? I've never heard of this guy in my life.
I don't know,
And then
Dom. You
I,
may
then
actually.
I sent you the tweet, and then you're like, do not trust this guy. Do not believe anything this guy says. I'm like, say less.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I obviously threw in some non, family friendly show words, some curse words in there, but we'll keep that out of the pod. But it was just crazy. I mean, Texas Rangers made fun of him. They put breaking starting lineup tonight. I thought it was hilarious. Talking baseball, they followed up with, "Wait a minute, why did they put a picture of a Mets player?" It was getting thrown around like candy. I mean, I was loving it. I thought it was hilarious. But word to the wise: open your mouth when it's actually true. Otherwise, keep it shut. I just don't get it. So that happened. And Dom, when you sent that to me, I was cackling, man. I was dying because I was like, there is no way. And then of course, like some crazy Ranger fan accounts were just going nuts. They're like, oh, that can't be true. Oh my God, what an idiot. I'm like, dude, please, come on. The guy, listen, the guy has gotten right. He's gotten some stuff right, but throwing something like that close to the end of the deadline just to get some clicks, at least type out breaking right. At least type that out correctly. I mean, that's the least you can do. You didn't even do that. I mean, did you make a mistake on purpose? That's a stupid thing to do on purpose. But that was just insane. Also, it looks like Dom, you speak a little bit of Spanish. It's Jeff Passan. I don't know if it's Passan.
I'm just, I'm literally
Eh,
art, but I'm doing it like by accident. He's doing it on
eh,
purpose. I'm
Jeff
doing it by
Passan.
accident.
Jeff Passan. That's great. That
So
is so
bad.
funny.
So bad.
Well, listen, hey, you live and you learn, you know what I mean? So,
I want to
yeah,
say something
and
before we start episodes.
and
I'm sounding out the vowels like I'm in first grade,
it's not a bad idea.
like a rubber band. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. But like alone, where no one can see me do it.
Of course.
Of course,
Absolutely. Or maybe we'll just do an episode of you sounding out things and pronunciating. That's all.
that'd be nice.
So, yeah, I'm looking. Brandon Sproat in July, 27 innings pitched, .67 ERA, 33 Ks. I mean, that is nuts. That's why Brandon Sproat needs to be called up at some point. Nolan McLean also 2.6 ERA in 19 games pitched, 8.5 record, 104 innings pitched, 113 strikeouts, a 1.14 WHIP. He's got a little over a 3 ERA in AAA this year. In 12 of his 14 starts, he's given up 2 runs or less. So the last thing I'm going to say about the Mets is David Stearns said something. I listened to the whole post trade deadline press conference, and the biggest thing that he said, and I really thought this was great because I have it written down here, mention David Stearns' comments about windows to win. But put it this way, David Stearns does not believe that. He wrote, or I shouldn't say he wrote, people wrote, but he said, and I even jotted this down myself. I don't view this as windows. Our responsibility here is to give ourselves a chance to make the playoffs and ultimately win a World Series every single year. That's what this should be. That's what we're aiming to make it. So I don't view this period of Mets competitiveness in a defined window. I view it as the beginning of what should be a very long and sustained period of competitiveness at the highest level. And I think the moves that we were able to make the last couple of days certainly help that this year, without in a very material way sacrificing some really high upside, special talent that could help us in years to come. That is essentially a longer version of saying, I am going to do what's needed, in the present time, presently. I'm not going to say, oh my God. Now, granted, yes, Lindor's age is going to get up there in a couple of years. Will there be a work stoppage after 2026? Maybe.
Possible.
I know I was listening to WFAN. Brandon Tierney is pretty adamant, and he firmly believes that there's going to be a work stoppage after the 2026 season. Now, some people may say, why would there be a work stoppage? Well, the CBA expires every 5 years, and we just had, a conversation about on our previous episode on Monday about how Bryce Harper and Rob Manfred got into a bit of a feud, and the players don't want to hear about a salary cap, but the owners want it, and the big reason is because of Steve Cohen's, you know, lucrative spending. So and his net worth. So there may be a salary cap, and if they're really going to try to push that, oh, I could tell you right now, the players aren't playing. So the age is up there with players. So some analysts may say, oh, they're trying to get these guys in on rentals because, oh, they're trying to win it all. That's fine. These guys can still get re-signed. Cohen would have no problem bringing some of these guys back if they perform well here starting tonight. So, you know, he doesn't believe in windows. I don't believe him either. I think you just compete the way you can and you try to win every year. And frankly, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give Cashman some credit here. I think Cashman this year, and I think some other years too, I think he treats it the same as well. But the unfortunate part is sometimes he doesn't make the best moves, and you got Aaron Boone as your manager. So it's tough.
I'm not like a full on Cashman hater. Like we've gotten good trades and good signings out of him. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of times where we should have got guys that we didn't even go for, that we weren't even considered, or like guys that were put on like that we've had him visit and nothing came out of it. Like there's some players like Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, like just examples of those two players. They shouldn't have even walked out the door.
I
You
agree.
bring them to the stadium, have this whole tour and presentation for these guys, like they're superstars. You let them walk out the door. Why?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Bryce
agree.
Harper? Really?
Yeah.
Like he's a phenom, this guy. I mean, like I know he's a Phillies guy, but I'm sure you respect him.
No, I do. I do. He's a good player, and he's not a bad guy. Listen, he's a fiery player, but if I played, I'd be a fiery player. I was a fiery player when I was in sports, soccer, baseball, basketball, damn, even volleyball in middle school. I mean, you should be a fiery player. You want to win. I mean, that's so I respect Bryce Harper fully. So I agree with you, Dom. There are names that the Yankees should have definitely brought in. Listen, I don't hate Brian Cashman. Do I think his time is up? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's been up.
I think his time is up. And you can't persuade me in any other way. His time is up, and Aaron Boone needs to go too. But it is what it is. So Dom, I want to ask you, what's one trade you wish the Yankees had made?
To get a starting pitcher. I think that was our top need. We didn't get it.
And if you had to say which pitcher you would have liked to see be a Yankee, who would that be?
Well, Fantasyland, obviously Paul Skeens. Fantasyland. But clearly that's never happening. He's not going nowhere, clearly.
No.
I mean, Joe Ryne, I wouldn't have minded him. And I don't know if John Boy started it or like somebody else did, but there was a rumor going around that he got traded to the Red Sox, and I was low key flipping out a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. I don't know who started it. I don't know if it was John Boy, I guess a prank or someone, but whoever did that, you're an evil person, and I
Oh,
hope.
I'm sure Pete probably was getting excited seeing that. Oh my God, we got Paul Skeens. I don't know if he bought that, but Red Sox fans were probably getting hyped.
I mean, I know he's not the same, but maybe he need to change the scenery too with Sandy Alcantara. But
Right.
like, I would have took him. Any any good starter. Like, he didn't have to be a lights out starter. We just needed depth at that position.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So
Right.
the fact that we didn't get that, it's not good. I mean, that means you're just gonna have to rely on Max Fried and Rodon for the whole season, and a
Yeah.
rookie Cam Schlittler. And clearly, Stroman is atrocious. So, and the fact that he's even in our rotation is just like evil. So, we really needed a starting pitcher.
I feel you. I kind of feel the same way with the Mets. I honestly really wanted Joe Ryan. That was the guy I really vouched for, right? I thought the trade package that I formed on our last episode was good enough. If they wanted a little bit more and they gave, say, maybe a guy that was out of the top 15, top 20 prospect list, okay, that's fine. You could throw him in and have him be a kicker and not so much Blade Tidwell. Um, but aside from that, I would say with what the Mets gave up for Cedric Mullins, me personally, I would have compiled a package of players like Jeff McNeil, Luis Angel Acuna, and maybe a prospect or two that again is a little lower tiered for Brandon Lau. I mean, you got a center fielder already. If you didn't have to give up a Jeff McNeil or a Luis Angel Acuna, yeah, Drew Gilbert was already off the table. He got sent to San Francisco for Tyler Rogers. But I would have maybe David Stearns did call the Rays. I don't think he said he called the Rays. I don't know if he mentioned calling the Rays in his press conference, post trade deadline press conference yesterday at 6:30. But I would have liked to see a package, something like that, maybe an attempt to go to the Rays and say, hey, give us Brandon Lau. That would have been really, I mean, if they had done that and while not getting a starting pitcher, I would have been completely fine. So really now that brings me, Dom, what would you give an overall grade for the Yankees trade deadline?
Solid B, solid B, because we didn't get a starting pitcher, and just considering the fact that Aaron Boone is our manager. I think if we had a good manager, it could be an A minus.
Hmm.
But like I said, or like what you said too, with the rotations, lineups, what's this guy gonna do? I
Right.
have no faith in Aaron Boone. I saw this somewhere, or someone said it to me. He can take you to the World Series, Aaron Boone. We're not gonna win one.
Well,
We're not gonna
yeah,
win one.
that's the thing. That's the big difference. Taking you and winning it. He already took you technically to
He
a
already
World
took
Series last year. Now, AL American League weakness
it
through the
this week
playoff run, granted or not, but winning it, I don't know, man.
against a great NL team. I can't see it.
Yeah, it's
It goes
yeah,
down to consistency, and we have none. You have to have a consistent lineup in order for you to succeed. How do you expect these guys to get some type of great rhythm throughout the year or even in the playoffs? Like Paul Goldschmidt, like leading off, batting second, batting fifth. Jason Dominguez leading off, then batting sixth. Uh, like this doesn't make sense.
hmm
Just have
hmm
consistency.
right.
Isn't that what
Yeah,
this game is about?
yeah, it is, especially in a 162 game season. Yeah, it is. Okay, so you would say a solid B. That's your final answer.
How about you?
I would say an A minus. So they got three relievers. Um, and really, I mean, I don't know what people were saying. They gave a haul for Tyler Rogers. What haul?
Oh,
What haul? Okay, I already saw Blade Tidwell pitch. The kid sucks right now. He needs some work. Does he have high ceiling, high potential? As I said last episode, I believe he does. Yes. Drew Gilbert? Drew Gilbert hasn't played that great in the minors. I mean, I'd have to look at his batting average and his numbers, but they're not great. And he's got injury concerns. I mean, he does. And then who else did they give up? Jose Budo. Jose Budo sucks.
Terrible.
I've had problems with the guy. I mean, every time I watch him pitch, it's like, oh, how is he going to mess this up again? I mean, I don't understand what hole. I mean, don't you want to win? And sometimes you got to give up to get something. So even if you think Drew Gilbert, who was obviously a number 12 prospect in the Mets system, even if you think he has serious high upside and he's going to be really good when he gets to the majors and gets called up, you got to give something. I understand it's only a 2-month rental, or maybe 2.5 to 3 if you go far in the playoffs. But folks, you got to give up something. You can't just now coddle and prospect hug all these guys. Now, granted, right, if it makes sense, like, okay, am I going to try to prospect hug Jonah Tong, Brandon Sproat, and Nolan McLean? Yeah. But damn, I was willing to give up the Mets' number 1 prospect for Joe Ryan. You got to give up something. You can't just hug all of these guys. I mean, you can't. You can't. Now, for the Yankees' sake, am I going to prospect hug Spencer Jones? You bet yeah, you bet. Absolutely.
Especially that Judge is out.
Yeah, 100%.
He should have been called up like weeks ago.
100%. I mean, right now, dude, Drew Gilbert's got a 252 average, and he's got injury concerns. And I don't know what his month of, I don't really know what his month of like July has been. All right, so right now, month of July, batting average, okay, 300. But May, he was hitting 196. June, 237. Not great, as I suspected. But I give an A-. And really, I would have liked them to get a starting pitcher, as we just said. That's the trade we wished had come true. But also, if you didn't give much up for Cedric Mullins, I would have liked to seen a package with like L.A. Acuna and Jeff McNeil, and maybe a prospect or two in the lower grading for Brandon Lau, because really getting 2 bats is always better than 1. And imagine having now Brandon Lau as your DH and having, one of the younger guys at second base, say even just have Brett Beatty play second. And they think Jesse Winker may not be back now, possibly until, mid to late September, or if at all, because his rehab is not going as hoped or as expected. So that would have been great. But still, 3 good relievers. They got an everyday center fielder. I'll give it an A-. And I do believe that Carlos Mendoza can manage this team properly. Now he's really got a serious weapon in the bullpen. The bullpen now, it just went from a weakness to a possible strength. Some people would say a massive strength for the Mets. So again, it's still up to Carlos Mendoza to manage a bullpen, one of the 2 big roles that the manager plays, in baseball. So I would give it an A-. Dom, you give the Yankees a B. Right? You don't change your standing on that. You're pretty firm on a B.
I just wanted to include this to the end because I would just get too emotional if I spoke about this in the middle of the show. Farewell, Oswald Peraza. Farewell. I think I was your only supporter ever, and
No, John from Maspeth was another bit, which I can't stand the guy, by the way. He actually put out there either yesterday or this morning, didn't look at the time of when it posted. He said, "Oh, thanks everything, Oswaldo Peraza. They never gave you a shot." And
they never did.
So
I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know like what's gonna happen with him. Like on the Angels, is he gonna play? Is he not gonna play? Starter, bench player, whatever. But if he does get consistent minutes and goes back to his main position at shortstop, just watch.
Okay.
Just
I know.
watch.
You're a big Oswaldo Peraza guy.
I always said that he should have been playing short over Volpe. He has a way better arm and obviously can field better than him, clearly. I said that Volpe should have at least been at second, but I don't know because he loves Derek Jeter so much or something. I don't know. Maybe that's why they wanted to put him at short. They wanted him to be the second coming of Jeter. I think that was the marketing goal for the Yankees, but pay attention. It's not working.
16 errors. I don't think Peraza's got 16 errors.
No.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? I mean, yeah, I guess loving Derek Jeter gets you somewhere. Kids out there, remember,
If only I was a
that could be you. Love a
only-
player, maybe they'll put you at the position. Who knows?
if only I was a righty, I'd be
Yeah,
I'd be
exactly. Yes, Dom. See, you messed up.
I would be nasty at the hot corner.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
So, what?
I'd be nasty at third base.
Really? You're really that confident about it? All right. Hey.
I have a great arm.
Okay. I'm not gonna burst your bubble. That's fine.
I'm not gonna be catching balls at first base. Just catching balls and grounding.
But you're a lefty, so that would be useful.
It would be useful, but that's boring.
Okay.
I gotta be running around. I gotta be doing stuff.
I feel you. All right. Last thing I'll say before we conclude here. Shout out Ryne Sandberg, who passed away on Monday. Great player. Really had one hell of a career. And he played only 1 year for the Phillies. As what everybody was saying, terrible trade. Honestly, one of the worst trades in baseball. Sending him over to the Chicago Cubs. That's where he really did the remaining years of his career. Phillies 1981, Chicago Cubs 1982 to 1994, and then obviously, right, we had the 1995 strike. Looks like he didn't play then. Then 1996 to 1997. He was the manager for the Phillies 2013 to 2015, and he was a coach in 2013 as well. 10-time All-Star 1984 to 1993. NL MVP in 1984, 9-time Gold Glove Award 1983 to 1991, 7-time Silver Slugger Award 1984, 85, 88, and it actually went from 1988 to 1992. So he had 5 straight years of Silver Slugger Award. NL Home Run Leader 1990, Chicago Cubs number 23 retired, Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame, and of course the National Baseball Hall of Fame. He got inducted as a member in 2005, and he finally got it on his third ballot. Guy passed away Monday. I believe it was Monday night, so it was obviously came after Dom, me and you were recording. But 282 homers, over 2,300 hits, 285 batting average, over 1,000 RBIs. Managerial record not great, but one hell of a player, and he'll obviously be sadly missed. Only 65 years old, so tough to see. But great shout out to him. And anything else left you got to say, Dom, just to conclude this post-trade deadline episode?
Aaron Boone, just do your job, please. That's all we ask for. Get all the help you need. Ask every assistant. Call other managers, other friends. You need all the help that you could get. As a Yankee fan,
you should make a 1-800.
Begging you.
I think you should make a 1-800 Aaron Boone hotline. You should generate one. You and all your Yankee buddies should generate a hotline for Aaron Boone, and he'll call in and seek help. I think. You ever seen the Michael Jordan meme? Stop it. Seek help.
Yeah.
That's gonna be you and Aaron Boone.
What's that? Aaron Boone, what's that Michael Jordan quote? The stupidest quote ever? The ceiling is the roof.
That's hey, Dom.
The ceiling is the roof.
Dom, it's right in front of us.
Right in front of us.
It's right in front of us.
It's right in front of us.
I had to do it. I'm sorry. I had to slam the desk. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to today's post-trade deadline episode of the FTB Podcast on either YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Be sure to like this episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss any of our shows. See you folks on Monday. Peace.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.